In a world teetering on the edge of transformation, where machines no longer just assist us, but challenge us, where artificial intelligence writes, builds, decides, and yes, even fights, a new battleground has emerged. Not made of mud and blood, but wires, data, and digital intent. Welcome to the age of intelligent machines. Welcome to the AI arms race. And the front lines? They're not in war zones. They're on polished stages, under spotlights. At the most important technology event on Earth. ICRA 2025, the International Conference on Robotics and Automation. But this year, it didn't feel like a conference. It felt like a showdown. Setting the stage. ICRA 2025 was no ordinary tech event. It was the heartbeat of a global rivalry pulsing through every screen, sensor, and servo on display. Imagine a stadium, but instead of athletes, the competitors are humanoid robots, AI systems, and autonomous platforms. The stakes? Nothing less than global influence. 7,000 of the world's brightest minds gathered in Chicago. Engineers, scientists, venture capitalists, defense contractors, and policymakers all filled the halls with a nervous, electric energy. This year, every booth was more than a tech showcase, it was a statement. A declaration. And behind every sleek demonstration was a larger question: whose vision of the future will prevail? On one side stood the United States, presenting not just cutting-edge innovation, but a moral and ethical framework for the AI revolution. On the other, China, efficient, industrialized, and moving fast, unencumbered by public debate or philosophical restraint. The tone was clear. Robotics is no longer an academic pursuit or a sci-fi fantasy. It's a strategic lever of power. And for the first time, the world watched two superpowers not with missiles or manned aircraft, but with code, cognition, and combat-ready machines. This wasn't merely about tech. This was about identity, leadership, and survival in a world redefined by AI. The American Showcase. America's Pavilion was a blend of Silicon Valley ambition and military-grade urgency. Think of it as a microcosm of the country's innovation ecosystem, chaotic, brilliant, and determined to lead. MIT, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, and Caltech collaborated with names like Boston Dynamics, NVIDIA, and DARPA to display some of the most advanced autonomous systems ever seen. Highlights included Atlas 2.0 by Boston Dynamics, a humanoid that could interpret verbal commands, map unknown terrain in real time, and manipulate objects with near-human dexterity. Adaptive military drones developed by DARPA that adjusted flight patterns autonomously to avoid jamming and countermeasures. Emotionally aware AI that monitored human facial expressions and modulated its responses for caregiving and therapeutic scenarios. But the centerpiece was a demonstration of a battlefield robot dog that learned new enemy behaviors on the fly and adjusted its tactics without needing human commands. The crowd gasped. It was clear that the US had brought brains, brawn, and conscience. Yet behind closed doors, Pentagon liaisons whispered concerns: we're pushing for innovation, but China is pushing for deployment. The pressure is real. America has ideals. But will that be enough in a world driven by speed and scale? The Chinese counterpunch across the venue. China made its move. No theatrics. No frills. Just sheer technological muscle. Unitree Robotics debuted Titan X, a humanoid capable of navigating complex environments, recognizing faces in crowds, and learning new hand gestures within minutes of exposure. DJI presented swarms of autonomous agricultural drones that didn't just fly, they coordinated in real time, learning from weather patterns and optimizing planting sequences across test fields. Huawei showcased their latest warehouse automation system, which deployed hundreds of modular bots within 30 minutes to a full-scale mock-up of a distribution center. They mapped, coordinated, and fulfilled mock orders with 98.7% accuracy. But what truly stunned observers was the clear contrast in philosophy. Where America showed prototypes, China showed products. Where the US focused on ethics, China focused on execution. And where the US asked, should we, China had already said, we did. The message was loud and clear, we're not waiting. We're building the robotic future. Now. For robot boxing match in China. Nowhere was China's ambition more theatrically and ominously displayed than in a viral live stream aired during ICRA, a robot boxing match. Two humanoid robots, sleek, bipedal, and autonomous, stepped into a boxing ring. Their movements mimicked trained fighters. Jabs, sidesteps, blocks. All powered not by remote operators, but by onboard AI trained on thousands of hours of human fight footage. They predicted moves, dodged attacks, and even altered strategy mid-bout. It wasn't a gimmick. It was a message: we have combat-capable machines. This public display wasn't just for entertainment. It was strategic theater. Military analysts worldwide took notice. These robots didn't operate on pre-coded routines. They learned. They evolved. They fought. If they can do that in a ring, what could they do on a battlefield? The spectacle ended with applause, but the tension in Chicago surged. The Chinese were showing the world not just potential, but readiness. When the match footage was replayed at ICRA, a hush fell over the crowd. The future of warfare had entered the room. And no one could look away. Military analysts began recalculating timelines. CEOs questioned supply chains. Even ethical AI researchers wondered if their principles could keep up with pace. The robot boxing match wasn't a tangent. It was a turning point. Suddenly, every demo at ICRA took on new meaning. Could this cleaning robot be militarized? Could that factory bot become a surveillance tool? Could ethical AI lose the race because it moves too slowly? This was no longer academic. It was existential. 5. The ideology war, ethics versus efficiency. America and China weren't just clashing over algorithms. They were clashing over ideologies. The US emphasized fairness, transparency, and the moral imperative to prevent harm. China emphasized speed, national utility, and strategic dominance. In American booths, discussions of AI safety, explainability, and inclusive datasets were everywhere. In Chinese booths, metrics ruled: performance, delivery timelines, cost efficiency. It became clear, the AI arms race isn't just about tech. It's about values. One side says, AI should serve humanity. The other, AI should serve the nation. The consequences of that divergence are profound. And the gap is widening. A lighter moment broke the tension, briefly. An American robot designed for hospitality rolled up to a journalist with a tray of coffee. It stuttered, trembled, and spilled the cup. Then, with a surprisingly human tone, it quipped, "I'm sorry. I appear to have been clumsy." Laughter rippled across the floor. Until, moments later, a Chinese service robot zipped by, cleaned up the spill, and delivered a new cup silently. No drama, no jokes, just function. Everyone chuckled. Then paused. The contrast was glaring. Even the jokes were outperformed. 6. Other nations joined. While the US and China stole headlines, other nations unveiled impressive innovations. Japan, engineers from the University of Tokyo introduced SPAR, a robot that could both walk and fly using vectorable propellers. Its ability to switch from ground to aerial mode was more than a gimmick, it was a lifesaver for disaster recovery missions in confined areas. Germany. A coalition of robotics firms launched AI-driven factory bots that negotiated tasks among themselves using blockchain-backed consensus protocols. No central controller. Just swarms of bots, making decisions in real time. South Korea showcased rescue humanoids that read human emotions and dynamically shifted their behaviors in stressful scenarios. Each project reflected unique cultural values and practical needs. But they all carried the same undercurrent: the world is racing forward. Together, and apart. 7. What's next? So where does it go from here? Are we on the brink of a robotic utopia? Or a techno-dystopia? As robots learn to heal better than doctors, teach faster than tutors, fight smarter than soldiers, build more efficiently than laborers, one question haunts the horizon. 8. What's left for us? Will humans become the directors of robotic armies? Or the audience to our own replacement? This isn't just about machines. It's about meaning. And the answer might define the century. Finale, call to awareness and inspiration. Here's the truth. The future isn't arriving. It's already here. You can watch it. You can fear it. Or you can shape it. Because those who understand AI won't be replaced by it. They'll be the ones commanding it. Stay curious. Stay aware. And above all, stay human. Coming up. AI swarms that think like ants. Quantum-powered robot generals. And the first humanoid mayor. Subscribe. Watch closely. Because in this race, the machines aren't the only ones learning.